I just want to go over like basics on how to look up open houses. And then Kelly's going to share like tips and tricks on what to bring to open houses. Mhm. There we go. And so everybody can see me. Hi. Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Where did Kelly? Hey, Kelly. Oh, we're just telling everyone that I'm gonna go over on how to oh, you're on mute, but I'm making you a co-host too. Screen. All my billion tabs. Okay, cool. That was so anyway, so I was saying how I'm gonna go over how to look up open houses on the MLS. And then if you want to give them the tips and tricks on what to bring to open houses and what was it? I forget the title of what you called it.
Seven, it's like how to have a seventh level open house.
Oh, got it.
Like from the very basic to the all the bells and whistles and everything. And you're like truly making the most of your time there.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. That will be very helpful.
Well, I mean, it is really helpful because sometimes you just don't know. You're like, oh, I didn't think of doing that.
Right? Yes. And I know so many agents probably have different tactics on what they bring and how they prep for open houses. So I love learning
Yes.
about everyone's little quirks on what they do because all of it's very helpful. Okay. And then this is me on the MLS. So what I did, so I went to Matrix, then I clicked on Matrix, and if you hover over search and then click on open house, it will take you here. And what's cool about this, it shows brokers opens or public open house. Now, for everybody who's a little bit newer, brokers opens are for agents only. And normally brokers opens are on Tuesdays. And what I mean by agents only is they are meant for you as agents and clients do not come with you. So also this is a great way to like network with other agents, but get an idea of popping into homes that you are familiar with the areas. So if like you live in Mayfield and there's a few brokers opens over there, definitely pop into those houses, kind of see like what the price point of the houses are, what the finishes are on the house. And it gives you an idea that if you do ever get a listing or have buyers interested maybe in that specific place, or if you get a listing in the same area, you now already have like a good concept on what you want to price the home at. And again, that's for brokers open. So like brokers open, you can check here, or there's public open houses. And if you check on public, and for example, let's get real, agents don't put them in too early on. So if there were any for Saturday, you can always see like, okay, I want to do an open house on Saturday. Click on that, click OK. And I just got my little screen here. And right now there's 26 matches. So if you want to get specific on like cities, so you can just type in like if there's any open houses in Mayfield. None, or like just like Mayfield Heights, Mayfield Village. And if you get specific on again like the areas of where you want to host open houses to see if there's any available here, this is a way you can do so. So right now, if I just did Saturday and then clicked on results, it shows me all the open houses for Saturday. And a way to change the view, I just click open house. So I just click display open house. And it's really helpful to hear like it gives you an idea of what the brokerage is hosting the open house and the times of each open house. And another way to go back to criteria. So if I did public open house on Saturday and you're just looking for our brokerage specifically, if we have any open houses and if you were like want to reach out to the listing agent to see if you can host an open house or host that open house for them, if you type in 2146, that would be our office's MLS number. And then if you click results, so far there's just one posted for our office on Saturday, on this coming Saturday, and it's from 11 to 2, and Nicholas Began is hosting it. So just so you know, where to look for open houses and how to search those. Super helpful. And again, closer to the date is when I recommend doing these open house searches. Okay, does anybody have any questions on that? I'm pulling up the chat too to see. No questions. Okay. All right. And then Kelly, is there anything you want to add on this?
Well, so here's one thing. This is just something when you're working with a buyer, you going with them makes sense. You know, you're showing your value, you're doing all of that. But if it's July 27th and you've got three buyers, you can't go to all of the places all the time on a Saturday. Here is something that I do. I email the agent that owns the listing that is having the open house. And I let them know that I am sending my pre-approved buyer to their open house. I introduce myself. I ask any questions. I do all of that and I'm registering them. That shows the relationship. It also saves your buyer from going in there and signing in and then getting trapped in somebody else's database. So when I'm working with buyers, we talk about what it would look like for them to go to an open house without me. And I'm 100% okay with it. I typically make sure we've done some high level showings so that they're going in there with educated eyes. So if I say to them afterward, did you look at the hot water heater? They did look at the hot water heater and they know what we're looking at. Because if they come out of that open house and they're like frothing at the mouth and want to write an offer and you haven't seen it, you want to
Right.
make sure that at least the same due diligence you would be applying to a showing you did is in place, just, to get answers to questions. But
I love
registering my clients is something that I like to do. Again, it shows them the difference. And I will have buyers that will say, hey, we wanted to go to these two open houses. We're cool if you can't make it. These caught our eye. So that is something that I do, and I do think that it helps the other agent on the other side also to kind of know. Well, I had 12 people come through. And the emerging agents like, I didn't get anybody.
it. Yeah.
Well, there were 12 people that came through the open house. Kelly sent two buyers. This person sent three buyers. So there were really only six people that you could have potentially gathered. It just gives more
Mhm.
data. It also opens up something for the conversation because if I sent you to the open house, but I didn't schedule the showing, there's no way when they send out those reminders of offer deadlines and things like that, you won't get them. If you didn't show the property, you might not get any of the update emails that come from the agent if there's an offer deadline or anything like that.
Oh,
So,
good point. Yeah.
so at least reaching out to the agent and telling them they are going to think, hopefully, oh, we have an offer deadline. I'm going to make sure everybody knows, and I'm going to call those agents that bother to send people.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's something that I just kind of do. Now, again, you do not have to, but I didn't want any of my I didn't want my buyer to get stuck in somebody else's database.
Right. Good
You know,
point.
and I still wanted to be able to be the person that is the primary contact when it comes to that house. So that's why I do what I do.
Nice. And then do you like send your clients a list of open houses in areas they're familiar with, or is it more so like you see this came through on their portal and then you saw that there's an open house and they're looking into it?
So I do that sometimes. It
Mhm.
just kind of depends. I do not default to sending them to an open house.
Right.
Prefer,
Mhm.
and so when so say for, and sometimes when I'm working with buyers, I will say, okay, it's Wednesday, let's get our game plan for Friday, for Saturday, for whatever day it is. Show me
Mhm.
what you're interested in and let's plan. And then I have the opportunity to see, oh, wait a minute, well, this one's going to have an open house at 2. Let's
Nice.
get out and go see all of the other ones, and then you can go to the
Mhm.
open house. Unless they're like, that's the one I love the most. Okay, then let's you and I go look at it so
Uh-huh.
you can look at it without a bunch of other people around you.
Hmm. Right. Good point.
And it's nice that we're getting back to a time with open houses because that was not a thing.
Hmm.
So it
But
is nice
now
to have
they're
them.
popping.
And it's great, it's a great
Yeah.
opportunity to get out there to practice. It's a wonderful if you've got a listing, the buyers love it because it gives them a chance to kind of do a little bit more slow shopping, which we haven't had in a couple of years.
Right. Exactly.
But if we are going to talk about what it looks like for you to be the host of an open,
Hmm.
now,
Yeah.
if you have your own listing and you are going to hold it open and do an open house, I would assume that you are going to come at this at a high level. This is your listing. You're showing your value to the sellers. So I want to know that that's what you're doing. Now, Keller Williams breaks their open houses down into 7 different levels. Level 1 is literally you're in the house. I mean, that's about all you're doing. You are a warm-ish body in a house. And that's great. I mean, you're in the house, and that's what you're supposed to do. But you're not really bringing people to you. If you were there to get buyers for your seller, if you don't have signage, if it doesn't look like a fun time, people may not be stopping by. If you are there because you want to capture buyer leads, you are kind of having the yuckiest party on the block right now. No one's going to come. So just showing up and knowing the lockbox code does not necessarily equate all of the end results that people talk about when they talk about doing an open house.
Hmm.
We need you in the building. We need you to understand a little something about the property. Signage would be amazing. I mean, you'd
Right.
be surprised. You're like, is this an open house? I didn't know there was no signs. Now, I do realize that some of you might be starting your career, so you may not have open house signage and things like that. I would never say don't do an open house if you don't have a sign, because if this is a chance for you to catch a lead, you want to do that. If you don't have signage, you can order it. Tori can help you create very personalized ones. There are generic ones. You could call a local printer. You could go to Amazon. You could do that. So getting some open house signage is easy. And if you're doing an open house for someone else and you don't have signage, ask the agent. Say, hey, I want to help you with this open house, but you know what? I don't have any signage yet. Can I please borrow some of yours? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so you want to do that. If you're going to be there, Put up 10 plus signs and not just in the front yard. Get them as they're driving down the main street, pull them into the development, pull them onto the street, capture them in the cul-de-sac. You want lots of signs. That is, that lets them know something is happening. So now you've got signs and you're open. That's great. That's still about a level 3 open house. You're not doing a lot. Here are some tricks and tips. Every neighbor is incredibly curious about what is going on in that house. They want to know how they decorated it. They want to know what they're getting, asking for it. They want to compare this house to their house. They may be looking to buy next year and they're waiting to see how this house does. So if
Mhm.
you're going to be like in these houses, let's get the neighbors in there also. If I'm going to have an open house, I go out typically the day before and I door knock. Couple of, either way, 5, 7 on either side, 10 across the street. I get the neighbors. I either door knock and I have something to leave behind, a note to leave behind. Hey, I am going to be doing an open house at 123 Main Street on Saturday. Would you like to help pick your neighbor? Do you have anyone that you would like to send to this open house? Please send them because sometimes they want their neighbor from the soccer team to move in. Let them help you market this property. Another thing that I do is let these neighbors know I am going to be arriving early. And did they want to come and visit the property? Like actually invite them to the open house. Make them feel like they're super special. And the reason I invite them early, it's just like a yard sale. You watch the person set up and you're waiting to go to the yard sale. If you are driving through the neighborhood coming to this open house and you see that there are already people there, that makes you feel different. That makes you feel that the value of this property is greater. It makes you feel that there might be competition. It makes you feel this is a popular one. I need to think more about this. So, inviting the neighbors takes care of their curiosity. It gets you in front of them in a way so that they know you're the agent that's working this neighborhood in case they ever want to sell. Having them in your open house makes it look like you're having the hottest party in town. So do
So
not be afraid to invite the neighbors. They want to, anyways. Let them.
right?
Okay. So now
Give
the
them permission to
neighborhood.
be nosy.
Yeah. So, all right. So we've got plenty of signage. We have got the neighbors talking about it now, also. And we've got the neighbors making an appearance. We need to market this. We need to
Mhm.
market it on your social media platform. If it isn't your listing, share it to the agent whose listing it is and ask them to share it also. It's their listing. They'll help you market that open house. They want this thing under contract.
Mhm.
So not only are you going to market on your social media, you're going to market on the actual listing agent's social media. You can paint the town red. Keller Williams, we have our agent website. You can post your upcoming like listing and information there. You can put it in the Keller Williams web's Facebook group. Let them know there's going to be an open house. Invite people to come. Tell them to send their buyers. Again, they may be busy, but they might have a buyer. And I will tell you, doing a transaction inside your own brokerage is like the best feeling ever.
Right?
Like it really is. If I could always be under contract with another Keller Williams agent, that would be my choice. So
Yeah.
let's do what it takes. Let's invite them to come. Now, we kind of so we've talked about how we're letting people know we're doing this. We're doing this. When we are there, we want to have a listing for people to look at. We want to have any supplements pulled together. If
Hmm.
there's something about the community, we want to be able to talk about that. We want to look like we know every single thing. We are also keeping track of the people that come through the open house. Now, we talked about there might be agents that think to register. I will do that. But at the same time, you're there trying to pick up prospects and leads. So here is how to have that conversation. Someone just walked in and you're like, "Hi, welcome so much to 123 Main Street. I'm so happy you're here today. If you could just take a moment and sign in." Oh, my agent sent me. They sent me. They already called you. They told the agent. They already know I'm here. Thank you so much. I do want to get your name because I had a couple of people that reached out and I want to make sure that I can respond back and let all these agents know that their buyer did actually make it. And also, the seller wants to have an idea of who is coming through their property. I appreciate the fact that you have an agent. Could you at least still fill this out for me? All right.
Perfect.
So that is a way to have a conversation with someone that's trying to not sign in. Blame it on the seller.
Blame it on seller for sure.
Honestly, though, it
And
makes
blame it
sense.
on their agent. Like your agent would want to know if there's any deadlines coming up. I can always let you know and let your agent know.
Yes, exactly. So you hear how you talk about it, but you still want to be trying to get their contact information if they're unrepresented because you want to become their agent. All right, so we're doing all of this stuff, but it doesn't feel like a party. Doesn't feel like a party yet. So, things that I do, bubble
This
machines are a thing. I am always with a bubble machine. I've got music playing. Now, I am not playing
bubble
heavy,
machine.
loud. Oh, hey, puppy. I am not playing heavy, loud, like club music. I typically play Frank Sinatra. Like it just kind of depends, like some slow jazz, but I have music playing. I have all the lights on. I have the windows open if it makes sense. I have the curtains open. I want this house to show well. I have some snacks set out very nicely. And I'm also really intentional about the food that I bring to an open house. You do not want to also have to sweep the floor after you take down your 20 signs when you're closing this open house up. And you should. If you are handing out charcuterie cups, that's absolutely adorable. But if they spilled red wine in the upstairs bedroom, you're going to have to clean that. So think about the snacks, the drinks, the things that you have. Have something there. But again, sometimes I hear from agents, they're like, I'm just starting out like this, and I have to buy the signs and I have to do all of these things, and now I have to bring food to the open house. Well, you don't have to, but having it be like a party makes it feel like a party, and parties typically have some kind of food. You could get, I mean, I have done buyer's breakfast. I've done it earlier in the day, and then I can buy ready to go granola bars, breakfast bars, fruit bars, different things like that. So they're wrapped up, they can take it with them. It looks really cute, and I can do two or three of those with an assortment. And it's not like I bought 2 dozen donuts that are no good after the open house. So just, some ways. So there are ways for you to have this party atmosphere without it being the most expensive party you've ever thrown. Do I have any questions so far? Did I lose anybody? All right. So we've got signage. We're keeping track of people. We invited the neighbors. We invited our friends. We put it on social media. We put it on the other agent's social media. We have some ambiance now. We've got some music playing. We've got some snacks. The lights are all on. I do recommend if you're like a burn the candle kind of girly, that's great. But remember that sometimes people walk in the door and if they smell something super, super fragrant, they're covering something up.
Mm, good point.
So if you want to have like a little pumpkin spice candle because 'tis the season, maybe have one little pumpkin spice candle over here. Do not have 14 of them because there are a number of people that are very nasal sensitive also. One little candle is one thing. 14 plugins can scare people.
Mhm.
All right. Now we're doing all of this stuff. You got to talk to these people. Okay. It's called an open house, but at the same time, you're the host. So, are you ready to talk about this property? Like now we're getting to like level 5, level 6. Not only is it a wonderful party that people want to come to, it's actually a party where you know about the house and you can talk about it. So, like level 6 really means that you're greeting them and you're talking to them about the property and you're asking questions. Hey, thank you for coming today. Are you looking for now or down the road? Are you pre approved or can I connect you with someone? So think about the questions you're going to ask, showing your value. I assume that every single person that's coming to that open house, if they're not on my list, I'm going to assume they do not have an agent. So I'm going to treat them as if they don't, and I'm going to start by trying to grab their business, which means that I am going to ask them all of the pre-qualifying questions that I ask my other buyers. What is their timeline? What did they like about this property? What made them think that this is a good fit for them? When they're done, follow back up with them. What did you think about this? Does 3 bedrooms work for you, or do you maybe need 4? And, guiding them and treating them in an assumptive manner as you figure out whether or not they have an agreement is you're already at the open house. You might as well talk to them. So,
Right.
so we're signing people in. We are talking about the property. We are treating this whole thing like it's a buyer meet and greet. We're asking those important buyer questions. Know how this property is in comparison to the rest of these properties. There's a chance that they know that this person in front of you knows that the house down the street sold at the start of the summer, and that's why they're here, is they missed their chance on that house. So understand the property, be educated. Um, you're gathering all this information. Now, here is where the winners really rise above. We have done all these things. We had 25 people come through our open house. We talked to them. We have a couple of names and people to follow up with. The neighbors came, they liked it. Somebody said something about maybe next year. You've done all of this. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where it really happens. Most people put all that crap in the back of their car and go on to the other things they were going to do on Saturday or Sunday. And they forget about it for 3 days. And then they find the sign, and oh, there's that piece of paper with those four people that I talked to. You missed a great opportunity. Maybe this was the weekend they were going to buy. If you bothered to talk to people and capture their data and have like good conversations with them, honor that like the gold nugget that it is. Put it in command. Put it in your phone. Set them up on a smart plan. Follow up with them in 3 days. Do not lose these little pieces of paper because when you find it a week from now and you get around to calling them back, hey, we met a week ago at the open house. Yeah, you know what? It was a really busy weekend. I ended up finding something else I liked on Friday. So, again, like you're not going to be able to potentially stop them finding something else. But if you're going to do an open house to generate leads and prospects, and you're going to do it at a high level, you have to sort that information and work with it in a high level. So the like for Keller Williams, they say that like right there, that is everything. You are using all of your skills. And for Keller Williams, the actual seventh level, and I love this, is you're not even doing the open house. And I just think that's so funny that, because we talk about all the time about hitting the glass ceiling and breaking through that ceiling, and then it becomes your new floor and you just keep building. So eventually you become such a high level listing agent that you're not even doing your own open house because
Right.
you've got your prospects, you've got your leads, you're not worried about buyers right now. And you've got all these people that are chasing you around and they want to do open houses for you. So you need to understand what a high level open house looks like so that not only can you host it, but that can be the requirement for the agent that does your listing open house. Sometimes agents are just so excited that they don't have to be there on Saturday that maybe they're not doing the listing themselves, their seller justice. Hey, do you want to do an open house? Yeah. Okay, great. Friday. Your choice, whenever. So if you're in a conversation with an agent and it's like that, ask more questions. Tell them, say, you know what? I'm curious, what do you want me to do? What time would you like it? Do you have signs that I can borrow? Can you share, the information? Why are they selling? What would they like to highlight about the property? You want to really know how to do all of these things. And a high level listing agent is going to want to have a fully leveraged open house. And they're going to guide you through that process if you don't know it. And here's another thing to remember about open houses. As Kelly and I said at the beginning of this, open houses are coming back into fashion. Like they were not something that agents necessarily felt that they needed to do a couple of years ago. But as they are coming back in and becoming popular, I guess, then being a good open house agent is a way to grow. It is a way for you to show your value. It is a way for you to strengthen your business.
Mhm.
And what happens on the other side of that is if you throw really good open houses, then the agents want you, they're chasing you to do that. And then that's what you're doing for the next, for 3 Saturdays every month is you're doing open houses and that's how you're picking up your prospects and leads. Somebody else might be buying them, you are intentionally putting 2.5 hours aside for setup, takedown in an open house. Does
Yeah, I
anyone
love that.
have, yeah, does anybody have any questions about that?
Yeah, I do.
Okie doke.
Um, I had a few open houses before. It just like it feels like everybody I welcome everybody and put open signs and whatnot. But it seemed like everybody who walks in, it's just like the first thing they say is like, "Oh, I have an agent." I never had anybody without an agent. Um,
Just so you
so
know, that's their line. They
Yeah.
know they know that that gets them in a door. Did any of those people actually get registered for your open house by their agent?
well, when they walk in, they put down their name, their email address, and everything, and even the name of their agent as
Okay.
well. So that's why I was told that if they have an agent, you're not allowed to just like follow them or call them or just, you just have you're not allowed. So that's why, even though they used to be very happy about everything I do, about all like you mentioned earlier, the supplement, like I'm aware. I print out all the information about my listing and all that, answer all their questions, and I can tell that they're happy. But I'm sure like when they say they have an agent, they did have an agent because they wrote their name down.
Have you ever called those agents and said, thank you so much for sharing, just say, hey, I was calling. I wanted to talk to you about Trisha. Trisha who? There's a way that you can ask questions. I mean, I have friends that use my name. They are not actively searching. They like to go to open houses.
Oh,
Hey,
so
that
you're
doesn't mean
saying,
that they have an agreement signed. You cannot, first of all, you are representing the seller and the listing agent. You are allowed to answer questions, walk around, be a part of it because it's your job to secure the home for them. So you're allowed to do that. What you're not allowed to do, well, what you shouldn't do karmically is poach other people when they are in agreements. If
mm,
they are not in an agreement, then it is free game. If they have a signed agreement, then no, you will honor that signed agreement because you would never want anyone to do that to you.
mm.
So if they're all saying, I've got an agent, and are they really writing like first name, last name? Okay. I would be like, that's great. I'm gonna call Trisha and tell her you came.
Oh, nice. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I would.
And I
So,
would, so I can call their agent. You're saying like I can follow up and call their agent, say, hey, thanks for sending so and so to my open house or something like that.
yep. Yeah,
Hmm.
Okay.
I
Okay.
100% would do it. Well, here's the other reason. I explained this a lot to my emerging agents. People want to do business with who they like, know, and trust.
Hmm.
Agents are the same way. There are times that I see another agent and we've done transactions together and they're like, oh my God, please tell me you're writing. Or, oh my God, I'm so excited about your listing. Let's do another one. So, having a relationship with other agents,
Hmm.
we need to realize that they are not taking anything from us that we didn't
Hmm.
give away. We need to kind of try to collaborate and take the higher ground.
Hmm.
So, yes, I would. Now, again, I'm going to come from a place of being helpful. Hi, Helen. I thank you so much for sending Trisha to the open house today. She really seemed to like it, though I'm curious, is a two-bedroom really what she's looking for? She talked
Oh.
about cats, dogs, and everything else. So now at that point, you can kind of tell by the other side if Helen's stumbling around and doesn't know who I'm talking about, Helen probably doesn't have an agreement in place.
Oh. Uh-huh.
So, so then you can call that buyer back and be like, hey, thank you so much. I do really appreciate you coming to my open house. I did reach out to Helen, your agent, and let her know that you did like the property, and I offered to share any details. And she said she wasn't sure about you even coming. So, just so you know, you may not be represented by an agent, and I would be more than willing to interview for that position.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
mean,
good.
yeah. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit, Helen, or did you have other
Oh
questions?
no. No, I like actually to be honest, like I was thinking about this part a lot because when they put their agent name, it's just like the way when you ask them when you approach them and they just say, "Oh yeah, I have an agent," it feels like, they're pushing you back. And I'm just like curious, like, do they? I had somebody who kept coming. I listed my daughter's house for sale, and this guy came a couple times because after the open house, he came back with his family to show them the house, and he never he said he had an agent, but he never brought his agent with him. So he was just trying to make the deal without an agent. But I mean, I don't wanna I just we end up like taking off that house of the market. But just dealing with him made me realize that some people just don't have an agent. So your trick is calling that agent that they put their name down is a very smart move. And
Well,
that's what I want to do in the future.
so I know that this is kind of you don't have to do business with everyone. And I know
Hmm.
that like, when you're sitting there and you don't have a contract, something under contract, you're like, no, Kelly, you don't know. I have to do business with everybody. But at the same time, if you are talking to a buyer that is being deceptive and it doesn't understand the value of what you do and is trying to kind of play both sides against the middle, you may not want to be in business with them anyways. And that's why I let people know that I'm willing to interview for the position. And I also let people know that I'm interviewing them as to whether or not I have room for another buyer at this time. Because again, you need to have a relationship that's based on clear,
And
candid
trust.
communication and trust.
Hmm.
So, and you're right. There are lots of people that don't understand how representation works or the benefits of it. And they think that they're saving money by not having an agent.
Hmm.
Well, you can help them understand that actually any money that would be a commission is coming from you through the seller and back to your agent. It's the mechanics of a deal. What has happened in the past couple of years are some people that had no clue have a little bit of information, but nothing really changed. That's how commissions have always worked. If seller, if nobody buys your property, you don't have to worry about giving anyone commission. And then when they're like, well, I don't want to give the other side a commission. Okay. Well, you have to have a buyer to sell your property. And the buyer is bringing the money that is going to pass through you and come back to their agent.
Hmm.
So sometimes they don't even understand it. The buyer that's showing up and thinking he's saving money may not understand representation either.
Hmm.
Without
Hmm.
any kind of an agreement, I owe you nothing. I don't have to keep your confidence. I don't have to keep your secrets. I don't have to do any of that. But so here's the other part, and I think a lot of people miss this point. And I know that I'm not the only agent that writes a listing agreement this way. When I write a listing agreement, I say what I get as the listing agent. And then I also have a commission in there that I will take if a unrepresented buyer comes.
Oh.
So I've already had this conversation. My sellers know this is what Kelly gets for listing the property. And in the event that Kelly is going to be a dual agent and also represent the buyer, this is the commission she's going to get. I have that conversation with the listing agreement, and there's an intentionality behind it. One, I don't want to be greedy and selfish. Two, I don't want my commission for a buyer to be a negotiation point that could potentially make a harder transaction for my seller. I started with the seller. He was the only person that I owed anything to when I did that exclusive right to sell agreement. But we had the conversation already. There's a chance that I might open the door and bring a buyer. In the event that I do that, normally this is the commission that I make, but in this instance, I will make this lesser commission, and here's why. I'm already going to make a commission for listing the property.
Mm.
My regular commission is this amount when I work with buyers. That might create a pain point that could make it harder for them to do a transaction with you. By
Mhm.
you and I agreeing in advance that if I bring the buyer, I can represent them and I will do that at a lesser amount, means that the agreement that I sign with that buyer doesn't have any kind of a pain point unless I choose to add it. So I'm setting it up to be the best for my seller in the event that I end up representing both sides. And because I do all of this in advance and have conversation, I have no issues. I have done dual agency many, many times. I have tried to give away dual agency, and the clients are like, no, we want you. So when
Okay.
these buyers
That's
that are
awesome.
showing up thinking they're saving money, they don't realize that you, as the listing agent, might have already talked about what your commission is going to look like.
Mhm.
And if you are the listing agent and you've had that conversation, Helen, then you can say, thank you so much for coming, Jeffrey Buyer. I heard you say that you've got an agent, and I hope you do. But in the event that you don't, please know that the seller and I already have had a conversation, and we have already discussed what my commission would be if I were to represent an unrepresented buyer.
Very
So,
nice.
so
Hmm.
again, it's a conversation. Now,
Hmm.
we are going to for sure sign a buyer representation agreement with that buyer because that is our job. And I typically put a little text box that says, in regards to address, the commission for this property would be blank. And then I still fill in my regular commission also. Because sometimes I've had all the hard conversations and now they're like, makes sense. I'm going to move forward with Kelly on this property or on another property. Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes we are afraid to have a conversation and it becomes a lot bigger and scarier than it really is.
Mm.
And then when we have this conversation, and I, again, sometimes use assumptive language, it sounds like you're really worried about buyer commission. And that's why you're so quick to tell me you don't have an agent or you do have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here to
Mm.
educate. I'm here to be helpful.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, they're running away from maybe commissions. But thank you so much that that was very helpful for me. That answered all my questions.
Good. Thank you, Helen. I'm happy to
Thank
know
you. Yeah, yeah. I wrote pretty enough notes to help me out in the next move.
that. Well, and
That was super helpful.
Helen, are you at the Lakewood office?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I just started not too long ago. How long has it been, Kylie? Like September? A couple months maybe now.
Yeah, I feel like it was like late September.
Yeah, yeah. By the end of
Mhm.
September, yeah, a couple of months, not too long.
Well,
Yeah.
the fact that you're getting in there and doing things and it's sitting in on trainings, that's amazing.
Mhm.
That's what I want. I mean, like I've seen Paula at 3 trainings in the past week, I think. Like today, and I love that. And Kathy and I mean, like, we can't have a party if Kathy's not here. She's always here. So,
Yeah, this is
and,
my second class with you. I had a class with you before.
oh, good. What on a Zoom?
On Zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that some kind of documents you were going, I forget the name of it, but you were going over each and everything in it, explaining it. I forgot. I don't know, Kelly, remember that document? You went over each and everything in that document,
Yeah,
which
that is helpful for a lot of people.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Like
Always
yeah,
looking
I'm
content to
like
be helpful.
Lakia's at work right now, but she's like zooming in, which is great. So it's wonderful to have you take the opportunity when you can be here. We love it.
Hmm.
thank you for
Yeah.
explaining everything.
Of course. We're coming, Kelly and I are coming up with a new name for our trainings,
I know, right? We do need one. Our K squared training.
A squared, yeah.
Yeah. And I
All right.
did just want to add in because all the content that Kelly went over is super, super helpful. I did also take notes and added the link to that Google Doc in the chat.
Good,
But
good.
a great thing to reference too is if you log into your command account, and everybody can see my screen, right? I just want to make sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. When you log in your command account and you click on up here, you'll see you're not going to have the command MC, but you'll have connect. Click on
Hmm.
the connect section, and then it will bring you here. And now just typing in open house playbook. And this is kind of like, again, there's so many different things. You can even just type in open house and get all the content. But me typing in open house playbook is where I found this um, reference tool that does touch on a lot of what Kelly just went over. And it goes over, again, just like highlighting some myths about open houses and then basically how to hone in on utilizing everything Command has, but also just the marketing sections of open houses, how to prepare for them. And it lays it out for you with this playbook. And I'm going to pull it up right now, just so everybody sees too.
Maybe one more question, if I don't want to. Sorry to interrupt you, Kelly.
No.
Just so, Kelly, what do you think about the open house in winter right now?
So I think that honestly, I would still do them, and here's why. Everyone knows how dark it is at 5 o'clock.
Hmm.
Over the summer, everybody wants to do showings during the week so they have their weekends free. And come fall and winter, as it starts to get darker,
Hmm.
5 p.m. is a really stinky time to do a showing.
Yeah, in the dark.
Real hard to see a roof, real hard to see, a backyard, things like that. But if you, um, knowing that having an open house does make it easier to funnel people through. So you can still have them. And like I said, you could do it on Saturday morning when the sun is out and it's a little bit easier to see.
Hmm.
Another thing to realize and recognize is right now, our market has many sellers that are living in their homes as they're trying to sell it.
Mm.
Talking to a seller and be like, listen, I know it's frustrating with kids and dinner and games and whatnot to never know if you're doing a showing or not. How about if we don't do showings on Tuesday night or Wednesday night and we do an open house on Thursday and Saturday? So it's a
Mm.
little less stressful for you and you have to have the kids out of the house. How about if we do that? And then you
Mm.
market it that way because, every agent on this call can probably attest to the fact that they could find a listing that's an occupied property. So we know that's happening. And then when you do your marketing, you're like, occupied property, here's your chance for a preview. Occupied property, here's your chance to walk it and take time doing it.
Hmm.
Why do a 15-minute showing when you could attend an open house?
Right,
Mhm.
right.
So you can kind of, make your marketing kind of wrap around because no matter how bad something is, I can typically find a good thing about it also. So yeah, it's dark outside and everything, but isn't it great that on Saturday, the people don't have to be interrupted during the week for a showing. You could do it on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And
true.
if you are going to now, okay, just like an agent to agent, like safety tips and whatnot, when you do an open house during winter months, you want to make sure you've got booties,
Oh yeah.
protect your
Oh
cellar
yeah.
floor. Go
Mhm.
to Mark's
I
or
got them. I got
Dollar
them.
Tree, buy a welcome mat or two. There's
That
like cedar
that's how I
ones.
bought it.
Yep. That way you can put one down inside. Now, I may not have to do any staging for a property, but I still show up at the open house with a small bench. We
Mm.
ask people to put booties on, and then they have to put their hand on the newly painted wall, fall backwards off the porch, fall down the stairs of the split level. I don't really feel like being the reason somebody needs to go to the ER.
Oh
So
my God.
if I have booties, I have a little bench for people to sit down to put the booties on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Me thing. That's a me thing, but I've actually gotten feedback about it too. Like think about how small an entryway of a split level is.
Oh
Could you
yeah, I have a
and
split
then they're
level.
like, literally, they're just trying to put a booty on, they fall down four
Oh my
stairs.
God. No.
So, but so being conscientious to the house by having booties, a welcome mat to catch some
Right.
moisture, that's a nice benefit. And telling your sellers you're going to do that. Like,
Hmm.
listen,
Hmm.
if we do showings all day Saturday, that's agents in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And there isn't as much accountability. If we do an open house, that gives people an opportunity to come through the home all at once. And it kind of gives you the chance to mitigate some of the damage, so to speak.
I like
Right.
open house. I like it. I've done it, a few times. And I think I believe in like communication. I don't like things online, and I like to meet people, talk to them. That's the best way to connect. Like I like connecting with people just by talking to them.
Well, it's much easier.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what people like, what their faces and their mouths say is really interesting,
Yeah,
So
that smile, like, sometimes you just like feel like connected with just this warm smile, and like showing them that you care, all that adds up to make you like stand out.
it, yes, it is there is a bold law that talks about the, 'cause, and it's a conversation around the energy that you bring.
Hmm.
If you are, oh my God, I need it. I need this transaction. I need this listing. That does carry over into how you interact with people, and that can make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
Just being open and receptive is what makes sense.
Hmm.
And giving people a space to talk, you would be surprised the things that they will tell you. I mean, at least once a month, I've got an agent on the other side that's like, well, truthfully, they'll take 250 for it. You just told me what your seller's bottom line is. Okay.
Wow.
You
Right.
know, now don't be
Yes.
the agent that gives the info away, be the agent that gets the info.
Yes.
But well, thank you, Kelly, for letting me be on this call today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kelly, for sharing
Thank you.
your with seven levels open house. Super helpful.
Not a problem.
And is recorded, so everybody could reference it as well. And I'll be sure to send out the video link as well as those information PDFs that I put in the chat in case anybody wasn't able to grab those.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully everyone has a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
All right, guys, just a quick reminder. This is a great week to connect to every single person in your
Mm,
sphere, in your database, at work, how whomever you are focusing on. This is the great opportunity. This is not a sales text or a sales phone call. This truly is. I am so incredibly grateful and fortunate for the life that I have right now and the real estate career that I met you through. I'm so incredibly fortunate to have been able to help you find your next home. I'm so incredibly honored that you are considering working with me next year. Regardless, everyone that you can reach out to this week, talk to them about gratitude. It doesn't have to be a hard sale, it's just about appreciation. So, this is a great chance to do it. It's a slow week.
yes, good points. Awesome.
All right. Everyone, have a wonderful Monday.